Hello America, and welcome to this week's episode of Procurement Weekly. Thank you, all of you out there, the 20,000 plus viewers who now watch this show every week, who are helping us quickly become one of the hottest government contracting shows on the air. This is a special edition of Procurement Weekly. We're going to mix it up a little bit, switch it up. As many of you know, and some of you may not, the government spending fiscal year ends on September 30th. And there is more money being spent between now and September 30th than any part of the year. So today, we're going to show you as much of that money as possible. Who's spending it? What agencies? Who are the incumbents, if there are incumbents in certain cases? And yes, by popular demand, we will show you some contact people. But I'll tell you right now, if you really want to get a hold of this information and get a handle on it between now and the end of the fiscal year, and we don't promote Gov Purchase heavily, but in this case, just honestly, you need to contact us so we can connect you with one of our analysts. Go ahead and subscribe to Gov Purchase by contacting us at info@govpurchase.com, or just click Demo Gov Purchase on the newsletter. I know many of you are subscribers to our newsletter, Procurement Daily, but contact us at info@govpurchase.com if you are interested in that end of fiscal year spending between now and September 30th, as I know many of you are. So before we go any further, I'd like to thank our sponsors, as usual. Bosch, the world's largest manufacturer of automotive electrical components. Bose, the largest manufacturer of speakers. They make speakers for tanks and jets. The Department of Defense, especially Washington Headquarters Services at the Pentagon. The Department of Justice, especially the FBI and federal prison systems. The Association of Government Contractors, that's my organization. Vets Group, GovConnects, the National Business League, Weatherhaven, Page Global, North Carolina State University, Rickman Enterprise, Army Property, Hutchison, the Runflat Company, Corning, Mid-Tier Advocacy Group, the RFP Success Company, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Playbook Investors Network, Choice Cybersecurity, SAIC, and the United States Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all. And of course, as always, to become a sponsor or to subscribe to our daily newsletter, or again to connect with one of our analysts to get a demo of Gov Purchase for some of this end of fiscal year spending, which as many of you know will be in the hundreds of billions between now and September 30th. Or if you have any more success stories to report, please email us at info@govpurchase.com. So again, we're going to show you where as much of the money is as possible as we can squeeze in to this weekly show. And we'll do it in the following areas: manufacturing, information technology, engineering, and medical supplies. Now again, we're mixing it up this week. We are showing you where the money is between now and September 30th, and we'll give you a few tips on how you can perhaps win some of that business. Much of that business will be simplified acquisitions and otherwise. So it's not all RFP, especially at this time of the year. So without further ado, let's get down to business. In our first section, manufacturing, again, we'll mix it up a little bit and show some of you manufacturers how you can get in front of the next opportunity. And yes, how you can capture some of the money that will be spent between now and September 30th. Typically, manufacturing, what we've shown is how to quote, what to quote, how to find the quotes, how to look for the drawings. Now we'll show you some of the larger projects, some of the integrated projects, some of the larger opportunities, and mid-sized and small opportunities where there's money still available that will be spent between now and September 30th. So let's take a look at manufacturing money.
So again, in our end of fiscal year special, which we will do many of these throughout between now and September 30th, which, as most of you know, is the end of the government spending fiscal year. So we're going to switch up a little how we do our show and focus more, as I said in the intro, on upcoming opportunities or low-hanging fruit, money that's being spent between now and the end of the fiscal year. So first category, let's take a manufacturing NAICS code, 332710. And so what we want to know is, where is the money that's left for the rest of the year? And so here under total, you see the dollar amounts, and you see when the contracts end, or when the money has to be spent. So as you can see, a lot of this money has already been spent. But as you scroll down, you can see the money from DOD, and that is DLA. So there's $214,000 that has to be spent pretty quickly. And then as you go down, you can see the dates where this money has to be spent. And now you can start to see, we get towards the end of the month here. And this is the Navy. So this particular contract is $1.2 million. And for the record, these are the contact people at China Lake on that contract. Any one of them would be acceptable to communicate with. And if you would like, always contact us at info@govpurchase.com, and we can provide you with the strategy on how to communicate with these program managers, contracting officers, and the like. And then you can see here things that are coming up, money that has to be spent. That has to be spent by September 7th, September 8th, 14th, 15th, 17th. Go down the line. And then now look at all the money that's being spent at the end of the fiscal year, the last day, which is the biggest spending day of the year. Okay, you see all of that? All of these. And these are the agencies. There's one with Hamilton Susteren, straight out of the Navy in Philadelphia, and so forth. So let's do one more thing before we move on. Let's sort by dollar amount. And now let's look at the date. So this is the one we just looked at, Hamilton Susteren. And here's another decent-sized contract. As you can see here, Ranger Aerofab. And we have the little drop down here. So let's get a better idea of what D5 ballast ISO transport fixture. So that's what that one was for. And so forth. And there you go. And so there are some steps that you want to take in order to get in front of programming, contracting, etc. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our manufacturing section for opportunities of money that's being spent between now and September 30th.
GovPurchase.com, the nation's premier tool for federal, state, and local contracting, proudly presents Procurement Weekly. Procurement Weekly is about contracts now. What contracts are available? Who do you contact? Who's winning these? We spotlight the agencies and companies that are winning these contracts. And we tell you who is the contact person that awarded these contracts. Procurement Weekly, featuring success stories by telling you who the winners are. In addition to all of that, each weekly episode we will feature the latest contract opportunities in all categories. In these times, staying up to date is vitally important, and Procurement Weekly will keep you abreast of the latest upcoming contract opportunities. Bids, pre-solicitations, RFIs, sources sought, online government events, bid updates, success stories, procurement interviews, and much more. So now be sure to watch this week's episode of Procurement Weekly with your host, Kim Harwell, every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us and subscribe so you can be notified and not miss out.
In our next section, one of our most popular sections, of course, is information technology. And we found more than ever during this time how very important information technology is, and having good security, cybersecurity, and the like. And I'd like to thank all of you IT companies, cybersecurity companies out there for your suggestions, your success stories, or becoming subscribers to GovPurchase, to Procurement Daily, and the like. So what we'll do now is take a look at a few IT opportunities, find out where the money is, who's spending it, how much, and then we'll give you a few tips, IT companies, on how you can capitalize and perhaps win some of these upcoming opportunities, what we consider as low-hanging fruit. So now let's take a look at some information technology opportunities that will be coming up between now and September 30th.
In our next section, let's take a look at money that will be spent in the information technology arena between now and September 30th. This is always pretty hot. And let's see, so for this particular section, let's use NAICS code 541512, which is a primary IT NAICS code. So there's always quite a bit, so we'll do this a few different ways. So this first one, 19 million IBM, as you can see, pretty much that money has been spent, and then you can go down the line here. And then you see there's so much. A lot of this has been spent, but then you get down to August, and you can start to see the money. You can see the agencies. You can see who the contact people are, in this case at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. You can see what the projects are for, like this one is audio visual installation, even though it's under that NAICS code. You see a nice one here for khaki, 24 million. This money is probably, when it's this big, size and scope, for logistics support services for the 309th, most likely that money has already been spent. But let's take a look at some more here. Let's go to the next page, because again, there's so much in this NAICS code. And now we're looking at money that will be spent between now and August 31st. You can see there's some 8A sole source, JJ Microsystems, Department of Transportation. So there's quite a bit here. There's a nice one here from Department of Health and Human Services. And then there's always, you drill down this. So this is a path study for IT security services. And that money, just for the record, as you can see, will be spent between now and August 31st. And you can go up the line. Now let's do something a little different. Let's have a little fun. Let's do something for our small businesses. So same NAICS code, IT 541512. Now let's go down and select small business. And now let's take a look. And then let's cut to the chase. Let's sort by total. And then let's check some dates. So you can see, look at some of these large small business contracts though in IT. 197 million, 146 million, 86 million. Here's money, 57 million that will be spent by September 29th. 57 million that will be spent by HHS, and by the way, the other one was CMS, Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services. And sometimes these are teaming opportunities where you want to reach out to the prime, to the incumbent, and there may be a way to communicate with them about this particular opportunity, especially if you represent a set aside that they do not have. And then you can go and you want to do your research to see what type of company they are. And you can see here they're S chapter, for profit, etc. And they are an 8A graduate, which means they understand how the 8A program works. So there's some good business always in 541512. Belize Technologies, 57 million. 34 million. Alliant Cross America Information Services. Google, Accenture, AI, Project Cloud, Department of Commerce. Another one with the Secret Service. New Technology Management, Homeland Security, and so forth. So you see plenty money being spent here between now and September 30th. And again, you have your contact people that are available in most cases. And we always say that. Let's take a look at this one. Fort Sam Houston, your contact people, contract specialist, programming manager, program manager, contracting officers, and the like. Webhead technology, SharePoint software. That money, that's $709,000, has to be spent by 9/23. And then down the line, now we're getting close. Look at all the money that has to be spent between now and September 29th. And this is how it works. And this is low-hanging fruit. And a lot of this money is still on the table. So that's just a glimpse at information technology and the money that will be spent between now and the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. And we're also giving you an idea of how to go after that money. But always feel free to contact us at info@govpurchase.com to find out more.
And we're going to add a bonus section for you this week. We've never featured engineering, but we've had so many requests from engineering firms that this week we're going to feature engineering. Many of the engineering companies knew that we would feature upcoming engineering projects between now and the end of the fiscal year. Now, typically we do forecast up to 5 years in advance, but we're looking at low-hanging fruit right now. So let's look at some upcoming engineering opportunities between now and September 30th.
Next, a little bonus for you. Let's take a look at some engineering money that will be spent between now and the end of the year. And for that, we will go to the engineering NAICS code, which is 541330. And of course, as you in the engineering industry know, that is a pretty broad NAICS code. So as you can see, lots of money, lots of transactions, a great deal of contracts. So one of the things we can do so that we can see some of the larger mixed in with the smaller. Now, these are, of course, the mega opportunities, billion-dollar engineering monies. And, of course, some of these won't be available until the end of the calendar year, but, of course, you need that amount of time. Now, here's a Northrop Grumman contract. This is money that's going to be spent between now and 8/21. But again, good luck with that, because you really have to be on top of your game in order to capitalize on that between now and then. A lot of that money is already assigned and earmarked. by now. But let's do this. Let's focus on some of our small business money, small business engineering, which is pretty big. Sorry. That's what I love about this show. I can always go back. Only takes a second. I do this so much sometimes that I just take it for granted. I get distracted. And there you go. And now this is all the small business money that will be spent between now, engineering, that will be spent between now and the end of the fiscal year. Now let's sort by dollar. All right. And here's one right at the top. 109 million by September 30th. 68 million by September 28th. It's with the Army. Peterson Air Force Base. They're your contact people, just for the record. And of course, for strategies on how to reach out to the individuals, what to say, templates, etc. That's what we're here for. We have this data at GovPurchase, as well as the best practices and strategies. And here's some more engineering opportunities. So I just wanted to sneak this one in because, you've been asking for this as well. There's 52 million that'll be spent by August 17th. Another 45 million that will be spent by September 28th. 37 million September 29th. 17 million September 17th. CCAT 1 engineering and administrative. That's Air Force. That's right, Patterson Air Force Base. So lots of engineering dollars available, and we'll take a look at a few more. $15,929,000, 16 million, 831, 14,928,000, and so forth. So we just wanted to give you an idea of some of the money that will be spent between now and the end of the fiscal year in the engineering category. And again, we'll look at more of this. This is what we will focus on. Next week we have another special episode for you. You'll love that. I don't want to spoil it at the moment, but after that show, from there on out, we will focus on nothing but money that's available between now and the end of the fiscal year. So this was engineering, a little bonus.
And before we move forward with a section that many of you have interest in, medical supplies, let's just thank our sponsors again, real quick. The Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, Bosch, Bose, the Association of Government Contractors, Vex Group, GovConnects, National Business League, Weatherhaven, Page Global, NC State University, Rickman Enterprise Group, Army Property, Hudson, Dow Corning, Mid-Tier Advocacy Group, the RFP Success Company, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Playbook Investors Network, Choice Cybersecurity, SAIC, and the United States Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And again, to become a sponsor or to subscribe to our daily newsletter, or in this case, connect with one of our analysts to get a demo of how GovPurchase can help you win contracts that are not published yet, which is what we're looking at now. We're looking at market intel in this show. What's coming up? In this case, we're focusing on low-hanging fruit between now and September 30th. But then you'll want to focus on 2021 and beyond. So for any of those categories, please contact us at info@govpurchase.com. And now let's take a look at some medical supply money that will be spent between now and September 30th.
In our last section, again, medical supplies. And this includes all of the PPE, the masks, the gowns, etc., that many of you are interested in. And so for medical supplies, we are going to use the NAICS code, which is 423450. And knowing the industry NAICS codes can be very important. And so let's just take a look at some low-hanging fruit for medical supply contracts. You can see some reasonable and smaller dollar amounts, which is what you'll see, as these in many cases are commodities, which are smaller in dollar amounts, very transactional, but nevertheless, the money's there still. It has to be spent by the date in the corner. So you have here now 162,000 medical pharmaceutical supplies that has to be spent by 8/28. Another 106,000 that has to be spent in McKesson by 8/30. Looking for some larger ones. Here's 1.6 million that has to be spent by 9/4/2020. Blanket purchase order, call order for procurement for VMCC commodities, and USAID is the agency. 360,000 Health and Human Services by 9/8. 389,000 by DLA 9/13. Another 115,000 Department of State 9/13. 838,000 it has to be spent by HHS by 9/15. 1.3 from DLA by 9/18. For medical supplies, these are decent numbers. DLA again, 4.9 million by September 21st. Homeland Security spending another 1.3 million by 9/21, and so forth. And of course, these are the type of people that you need to reach out to in order to find out more about how they're going to spend that money between now and September 30th. So again, we will continue to feature low-hanging fruit for the rest of the year. Where is the money? Where is the money being spent between now and September 30th? And just for the record, as I close out here, look at all the money, medical supply money, that will probably be spent on or around September 30th. Look at all of that. One day, biggest spending day of the government fiscal year. Still, all September 30th, all the way up until this last one. So again, we will keep you abreast. And as always, for more information, and if you'd like this data, that's not what this show is about. This show isn't about selling the GovPurchase product. They are our major sponsor. This show is about getting you the information, and we've had companies with GovPurchase and without win business from our newsletter and from this show. So that's what it's about. But to acquire GovPurchase or to subscribe to our newsletter or for anything else, email us, info@govpurchase.com.
I'd like to thank you all for joining us in a very special edition of GovPurchase, a market intelligence edition of GovPurchase, where we didn't just show you open opportunities, but we showed you how to find out what's coming up before it comes out, and also how to capture the low-hanging fruit, the simplified acquisitions, and other purchases that will never be put out for bid or quote. And to find out more, please contact us at info@govpurchase.com. And until next week, let's get down to business.
GovPurchase.com, the nation's premier tool for federal, state, and local contracting, proudly presents Procurement Weekly. Procurement Weekly is about contracts now. What contracts are available? Who do you contact? Who's winning these? We spotlight the agencies and companies that are winning these contracts. And we tell you who is the contact person that awarded these contracts. Procurement Weekly, featuring success stories by telling you who the winners are. In addition to all of that, each weekly episode we will feature the latest contract opportunities in all categories. In these times, staying up to date is vitally important, and Procurement Weekly will keep you abreast of the latest upcoming contract opportunities. Bids, pre-solicitations, RFIs, sources sought, online government events, bid updates, success stories, procurement interviews, and much more. So now be sure to watch this week's episode of Procurement Weekly with your host, Kim Harwell, every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us and subscribe so you can be notified and not miss out.